I want to read this from the Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East, Volume 5, and I'm going to jump over here to Chapter 4, called Life Eternal. And this is talking about the amoeba. And I'm reading this for a reason, because I made a video that I last posted about seeing the light beaming up from white objects or any light object into the sky. And I showed examples of that. But what I didn't tell you was that I'm seeing light in a different way than that. That's just a little bit that I could show, but what I see, I can't show because there's no way I can get you to see out of my eyes, I guess. I can ask you to experiment. Maybe you might see the same thing I'm seeing. But I look at light with my eyes squinted real tight, and I open them just a little bit, and the light bubbles up, and I can see like into a cell, it looks like, because there's so many moving things inside of it, and spiraling and vortexing things, and light and color, and it's fascinating. And I've been studying it for over a year now. I've been seeing it, and it just grows more and more intense and more intricate. And I want to read out of this book so you might get an understanding of what I think that I'm looking at, although I'm not altogether certain for sure 100% that it is. But I will read you this, and you can make your own determination about that. I've read this from this book several times, and other books that speak of similar things. And I'm beginning to realize that light is what we are, and it is what we need to come to understand. Because we are ourselves, our physical bodies are made up of light. So, also, this talks about a protoplasm, that is the first cell, and you'll just have to hear it as I read it to you. Okay, life eternal. From a select amoeba, the divine image never changes. It dominates the ideal and perfect form and passes on that perfect form unchanged to every new cell that is created in the entire form. Thus, every cell of the bodies of the entire human race not only has the perfect, but is the perfect image of supreme intelligence. Thus, we have the unassailable proof that man or humanity is the divine, supreme intelligence, which is God, the conquering Christ, God-man, the result of the complete coalition of the Trinity. Indeed, every seed has the exact image of that which it will produce. Now, let us sit quietly and look directly at this select amoeba and its ability to reproduce and send forth and unerringly implant its perfect image into every cell that, through multiplication, forms not only the human form, but every tree, every blade of grass, every flower, every crystal, and every rock, as well as every grain of sand. In fact, by the close examination of crystals, all rock structure can readily be classified. It is thus with every grain of sand, as well as with all minerals. This crystallization is the foundation from which we learn their relationship to the whole, and their relationship and economic value to humanity. Let us return again to the high magnification and rapid photography which is being developed. And remember, this was back in the late 1800s, and we have developed photography to a greater place even than this. Although, and I have to say this, the chapters I didn't read that began this book, they talk about a camera that takes pictures of past events. Now, I know that's a hard one to grasp. That's a hard one to say, I can believe that. So I've sort of put that on the shelf of my mind. I want to believe it. Maybe it's true. But anyway, they're talking about how photography is being developed, even in this day that this book was written. We find that the minutest seed, when its germ cell is photographed under high magnification, has the exact form of that which it will produce and bring forth unerringly, and it is giving off a wavelength or a vibratory frequency which accompanies it throughout its circle of productivity. And through its frequency of vibration, it attracts to itself the energy that is necessary for its development into maturity. And this frequency of vibration, which is the divine life essence, which accumulates or draws to itself the substance, not only gives life to the tree, the flower, and all vegetable life, as well as to all minerals and metallic substances, but it is the very life of that substance. Now, we are free to say that all substance has life expressing through it, and there is no change from that divine plan of perfection until man, through his thoughts, either enhances or debauches the perfection. It is also found that man is able to influence these emanations of perfection to a larger and greater productivity, of presenting greater and greater thoughts of productivity and more abundant perfection. Let us return again to the amoeba, or first cell. While this cell is entirely different from that of the vegetable or mineral, its rate of vibration is much greater and is not to be compared with that of the mineral or the animal. It is found that its rate of vibration is the force that draws its energy or substance to itself, which causes its growth into new cells, which finally builds a human form, and the passing on to every cell created the first perfect and undeviating form of divinity. It now can definitely be seen that when humanity cooperates, and in no way, through thought or expression, interferes with the ideal of divinity, the human form is ideally perfect. Thus we can say that it is God body, pure and perfect. Let us see that divine energy, an intelligent principle emanating from the single cell or amoeba, with its own principle of great vibratory frequency, began drawing energy to itself, and then began dividing and multiplying until it came into a great focal point or form, wherein it could emanate and direct all forms as well as put forth forms as of the image of itself. Humanity has never deviated from that perfect pattern or image. Photography shows those perfect forms, not only surrounding every form, but also other perfect forms coming forth. Where the scientists lack evidence, we have forged ahead to the complete knowing that we are that great emanating frequency. Sit quietly for a few moments with the statements, God, I am, as all are. God, I am divine intelligence, and know and then admit to yourself, with all doubt removed, I am divine principle. I am divine love, and it flows through me to all the world. Then see yourself as God, and everyone you meet or see as God, and you will see that which is being accomplished in the sub-microscopic zone of life. For you will see an almost invisible drop of protoplasm that is transparent, jelly-like, capable of motion, drawing energy from the sun. It is already capable of using the light of the sun, to break up the carbon dioxide in the air, forcing the atoms apart, seizing the hydrogen from the water and producing carbohydrates, thus making its own food out of one of the world's most stubborn chemical compounds. This single cell, this transparent droplet, holds within itself the germ of all life. It not only has the germ, but it has the power to distribute this life to all living things, great and small. And it also fits that creature to its environment wherever life exists, even from the bottom of the ocean to the universe above. Time and environment have molded the form of every living thing so that it meets the infinite variety of all conditions. And as these living things develop their individuality, they sacrifice some of their flexibility to change and become specialized and fixed, losing the power to go back, but gaining a better and greater adjustment to the conditions as they exist. The power of this droplet of protoplasm and its contents is greater than the vegetation that clothes the earth in green, greater than all the animals that breathe the breath of life. For all life comes from it, and without it, no living thing would have been or could be. You will find that all of this is absolute truth, step by step. Humanity will know, as we know, that man is the universal source of this life. Man is master in the animal as well as in the vegetable and mineral kingdoms, completely endowed with supreme intelligence, in reality, the soul of all things. This divine intelligence man has never lost. He has only become shamefully unaware of this true God heritage through the setting up of his own debased thought structure. It is well at this point to stop and let go of, forget and forgive this debased thought structure and set up a real structure as man, the supreme intelligence, the master of all things, God and man one. An amoeba is a microscopic, highly developed living cell composed of untold millions of atoms in orderly arrangement. Size is nothing to the infinite. The atom is as perfect as the solar system. The cell divides and forms two. The two divide and form four, and so on, ad infinitum, as cells do in every living creature. Each cell contains within itself the power to produce a complete individual. The cells themselves are immortal. They form the cells of all creatures, animal and vegetable of today, and are exact replicas of their progenitors. We, as all humanity, are well-ordered replicas of billions on billions of similar cells, each cell a citizen intelligently doing its full quota of devoted service. This one cell also has the power to use sunlight to break up a chemical compound and make its own food, and enough for its brother cell. You will find that this division is absolutely basic as one of the essentials of life itself. Can it be further denied that man is immortal here, when there is every proof of divinity as immortality? All things that live start from a single cell, and this cell compels all of its descendants to perform the service and follow without deviation the design of the creature the original cell is to duplicate, whether it be a human, a turtle, or a rabbit. It is found that these cells have distinct intelligence, instinct as well as reasoning power, as it is well known that after division, portions of these cells are forced to change an entire nature to meet the requirements of that being of which they are a part. Why? because the plan is set forth and is invincible to change, and that is the reason that man is divine, perfect, and invincible. It does not matter what thinking structure he evolves. This plan is absolutely irresistible and can never be changed. It is first principle, dominant and compelling, and is also the very reason that man is capable and abundantly able to reach the highest. In the event he fails to reach the highest in his immediate understandings, all that is necessary is for him to change his thought structure, which has circumvented him, to the true thought structure that is steadfastly fixed within his own mind, of which he always has an inherent instinct, and build a dominant thought structure which will allow him to reach to the highest conception to which thoughts can aspire. His easiest and most successful way of attainment to this highest goal is forever to let go or drop the thought structure that has bound him to the wheel of repetition, and set into immediate action that which will build up an invincible thought structure which will never fail in carrying him to the highest.